Hi, this is Dr. Micol Neely, and thanks for listening to our show. We are here to talk a little bit about mindset, movement, and muscle, and maybe a few other little fun things along the way. Sassy and Strong with Dr. Micol here, and I have some exciting guests today. We're going to talk to Dr. Cory about something that honestly I need, and I cannot wait to hear about. Let's talk breathwork.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Cory. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got into this space of like the meditation and breath work. What does that really look like?
Yeah. Well, Dr. Cory, I'm a naturopathic physician, board certified family practice. And how breathwork came into my life was really serendipitous, kind of on the back end of medical school, where I was learning all these amazing things, all these therapies, and I was getting more stressed out and sicker. I'm sure you probably have been there before.
Yes.
Where you're self-diagnosing yourself every 5 seconds. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Especially through psychology class, yes. I was like, oh, I have all this.
All of it. Do I need to check myself in?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was, pretty avid athlete, exercised a lot, ate a lot. As you can tell, I'm a big human being and like 225, right? 6'5".
Yeah.
And I got to about 158 pounds, was dealing with all sorts of digestive issues, autoimmunity, joint pain, getting diagnosed with weird conditions like eosinophilic myalgia, like what's going on with my body. And I was trying to figure it out. And so fast forward to like 3rd, 4th year of medical school, I was at 158 pounds and really sick, and not a lot of people could help me, even my mentors. And so I decided I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to step outside of my comfort zone, go to a completely different environment to just see if I could reset. So I had a friend who had a retreat center called Niue Rao in Quitos, Peru.
Okay.
Think literally middle of the Amazon kind of vibes. And here's Dr. Cory, or about to be Dr. Cory, never done drugs in my entire life. And I decided to go on a trip for a month in the middle of the Amazon and drink ayahuasca like every other night.
Okay.
And so, that really catapulted, I'll get to breath work in about 2 seconds here, but that really catapulted my journey on healing and realizing it's so much more than just medicine. It's so much more than just taking a pill. And it's really an introspective process. That's usually how it starts. And so for me, it was those ayahuasca journeys and realizing there's so much more to healing. And a lot of it was actually connected to the relationship that I was in at the time that was really toxic and just completely draining my batteries. And and so fast forward about another 5 or 6 years, I was in a long distance relationship with somebody. And she was taking a yoga class or a yoga teacher training. And her name's Jessica. She's my fiance now. I'm about to marry her in a week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. And so I was in Arizona, she was in California, and we had these really late night conversations, the ones where you fall asleep on the phone. And during her yoga teacher training, she was taking a breathwork class.
Okay.
And I had done yoga classes. I was a yogi. I'd go to yoga classes, do pranayama. And she was telling me these fantastical stories about I closed my eyes and I was doing this breathwork technique. And then I turned into an eagle and I was soaring above my life and I was getting all this clarity. And I was thinking to myself, did they slip something into your water right before? My doctor mind was running.
Did she get the ayahuasca here?
Yeah. Because that's where my brain was. It was in science and biochemistry and taking something to alter your state. But that wasn't happening. So she was really inspired. I was really inspired. And then she said, I want to take a breathwork certification training. And I go, sign me up. She's like, but you've never done this technique before. I was like, I don't care. I have to find out.
I want to try it.
Yeah. So
and do you think so during the yoga training, she was getting the breath work that was getting her to that place?
Yes.
That's what led to, let's do it.
Yeah. More about breath work. And so I did my first journey in a certified teacher training in this hut. And here I'm again in a hut, right? A doctor in a hut. And I did this very powerful technique that took about an hour. And I popped up, I swear, like deer in headlights, you know,
Uh-huh.
like what just happened? I feel so amazing. I feel like I'm high in my own supply. This feels like a
Without
plant.
anything other than breathing.
Yeah, it feels like a plant medicine journey without the plant medicine. And so that's really where my breathwork journey began.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you've just built this practice on your experience.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we can get into some of the nuances of breath work, but there's a lot of different breathwork techniques out there. The form that I really specialize in is long form transformational journeys. So this isn't just like a quick practice. This is something where you come in and you work with me and we can breathe sometimes for 30, 35 minutes to really help unlock what maybe is holding you back, whether it's a health condition, whether it's a relationship like I was dealing with, to really see what's inside. Yeah.
Now, you started out with the ayahuasca. How did you do that? Like, obviously, that's not something we do here in the US.
No.
How did you find a good provider? Like, was it word of mouth or research?
Yeah. So through the medical school, I had a friend that knew Dr. Joe Tafur. You should definitely have him on the podcast. He's local here in Arizona. And so he co-owned a retreat center, Niue Raul in Iquitos, Peru, with a traditional shaman in the Amazon. Yeah. And so I was connected with him that way.
How would you relate your two experiences, that ayahuasca journey with then your breath journey?
Great question. And that's what really opened my eyes to the power of breath work is I think some of my breathwork journeys personally have been just as powerful, if not more powerful than the ayahuasca journeys because I did it myself. And there's something really innate when like, you know, when you've had like a really good workout, when you like hit your PR or your peak goals and like you're so like that internal pride it's like nobody can take this away from me. Like I did this. There's something really inherent about breathwork journeys and being able to do that for people versus ayahuasca journeys where I've noticed, because I've been in those communities too, right? And people will just say, every like 5 years, like things start to decline or whether it's their self-confidence or the clarity that they have in their life. And then what do they say? Oh, I need to go back to the Amazon. I need to do ayahuasca again to get back to how I feel versus breath work, which is a real internal process. We could, I mean, if you wanted to, like, I know there's all this equipment and stuff, we could lie down and do a journey with you and have you experience something just with the power of your breath.
That would be incredible.
I don't think it's a good idea to do right now.
Not right now,
No,
but we need to plan that.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting. We're bringing ketamine into our clinic.
I love that.
And very similar, like helping with the neuroplasticity of the brain. But one thing from Conscious Ketamine Institute, Browen, that I'm learning is that it's not always about the medicine.
No.
Like that journey helps you reset your brain.
Yes.
But then she's very detailed. And what I love to teach our patients is how to get back there without using anything. So how amazing to put breath work in that.
Yes.
Your breathing to get back to that place where you can reset your brain.
Yes.
I love the idea because I'm super into exercise. It is my brain reset. So I love the way that you put that it's like that accomplishment in your workout.
Right. Yeah.
So what do you tell someone who's very like type A and they go to do the breath work and they're like, nope, I'm just not feeling it. Like, let me tell you my first experience. I did breath work for like the first time at a longevity conference.
Great.
And they had it. So I'm like, okay, let's go.
Okay.
And I remember laying there and feeling a little bit awkward.
Like
I'm
self-conscious?
Like, And I'm like a little cold. I'm on the floor with all these people who are breathing, which I think this is important. I believe in breathing. I believe in meditation. But so we close our eyes and like, picture you're on a mountain. I'm like, okay, I love mountains. I can do this.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to breathe and picture on a mountain. They're like, now picture the whole valley. That's your past. Instantly, I burned it down. Like in my mind, seriously, there's this big flame and everything just burned. And then the guide is like, his next words were, now show it some grace. And I'm like, oops, too late. I already burned it. So how do you deal with someone like me that's like, well, this breathing is...
Well, I want to ask, like, get a little more into the nuance to understand. What was the technique? What was it like?
So it was guided. We were in a room. There was probably like 30 people there and just different breathing techniques. I'm not educated in breath work. So
So it was like more gentle techniques?
It was very
nasal
gentle.
techniques? Okay.
Both, yeah. So different like rhythms and how you breathe in and out.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll tell you a little bit. So like there's many different techniques, right? We're what's called long form transformational. So it's conscious connected, meaning that you're either breathing in or you're breathing out. So it's a consistent, meditative, almost hypnotic practice. So I love working with people like you that are type A because this practice, it's hard in the beginning. Like the first 5 to 10 minutes are the most difficult because it's a pretty intense breathing practice. And after those first 5 to 10 minutes, what happens is you go into what's called transient hypofrontality. I know it's a big word, guys, but all that means is your frontal neocortex will dampen, will actually not shut down, but down regulate. And so you'll go into deeper parts of the subconscious as a result of that.
Like the front part of your brain is controlling a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
And sometimes why we're scattered and so much feeling and very ADD. So like without all the big words, we're kind of like letting that get shut down so that we can get deeper into the brain, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Because what I find with type A are like really smart people that have medical degrees and like you do and all that kind of stuff is you're trying to think ahead. Just like you talked about with that visualization. You're like, well, I already wrote it down. Done. Next. Right? So we really try to, during our journeys, not give too much of that inserted like assertions where you can receive feedback because it's all about the internal sensations. So after you get through that first 5 to 10 minutes, we'll have you say specific affirmations. We have specific music sequencing to take you to what I like to call as a peak emotional state. We're actually stretching your nervous system. So people that like workouts like coming to our experiences because we will challenge you and you'll probably do between 200 to 300 deep rotating breath practices during this experience.
It's a brain workout.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you experience, nothing like what you experienced with me.
It was still like by the end, I felt like I was calming down.
That's awesome.
But it definitely took me a while.
Yeah.
It was hard to let go.
Right.
Very hard.
Right.
So,
well, you have a lot that you hold on to.
I think we all do. Don't you think in like our culture, our society, with all technology, that this is even more important?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'll never forget during COVID, I was working in a medical practice, running their IV lab, running a mentorship program, seeing patients sometimes 6-7 days a week and completely burning out. And at the same time, reaching out to my mentors for advice and then seeing them honestly get sicker, develop autoimmune conditions, and some of them even passed away during that time in my life. And so I was like, wait, so no matter how hard I work, how much I push myself, this is my future? So around July, right around COVID, July of 2020, I stepped away from private practice and stepped into this breathwork and meditation space because I knew that wasn't the way for me at the time.
For someone who's like, that's what I need, but how do I get there? Or how long does it take? What do you think the first steps are and how quickly do you feel the difference? Yeah.
Well, so with us, sometimes it's within the first session. People have come up to us and said, this is like doing 1,000 meditations crammed into one class. Other people, it takes sometimes some time to build up trust, right? I mean, even for me, you talked about maybe having like an okay breathwork experience, but it really takes some time to get to know not only the facilitator, but, for me, the breather, and building up that trust for them to be able to go there. Because a lot of people are really closed off right now. They want the answers, but they're not willing to take themselves there. And so this practice, it's a really amazing healing practice, but sometimes it can be really confronting because there's not a lot of other stuff, right? It's just you and your breath and me guiding you along the way.
How important do you think this is to longevity?
To longevity? Well, I mean, I'm just thinking about like the stress epidemic that people are going through, the dopamine epidemic, people really struggling with social media and keeping up with the Joneses and dopamine. So as far as longevity, I think it's honestly critical. The biggest piece that we really get from people is, yes, the breathwork's amazing. Like we do breathwork events around Arizona, sometimes have 50, 100 people, and it's really awesome. But why people keep coming back is for the community. And I don't know enough about the research, but I do know as far as longevity, having a strong community in your life, a reason to live, a reason to be contributed to and contributed for is critical for longevity. I mean, it's in a nutshell, it's like, well, then why do your body's probably saying, well, why don't I keep going? It's like, because I have a community that loves and cares for me.
Yeah. That calming effect, lowering the cortisol, inflammation.
Yeah.
I see a lot of patients that come in like, oh, I just want the right peptide. I want my hormones fixed. Show me in my labs. And I can do that, and they're still struggling. And I think that missing piece is calming the brain.
Right.
Which is hard for some of us.
Right.
I mean, I've been there.
Right.
But I don't think that we can get optimal health, optimal longevity without the aspect of calming our brain.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's a little bit of a neurosis, because it's like, well, because there's going to be something that's after peptides, right? It's coming. Yeah. And then it's like, insert that where into your life. And if you're full of all of these health things, because I've started to see patients the last 2 years or so, just small practice, just taking on people that I want. And the biggest thing that I see is like, you're right. They just want to know like, what's the square that I can fit in the square hole that's going to like heal me. Yeah. And that's not always the solution. Sometimes it's like, when's the last time that you hung out with some friends and had a good belly laugh? I mean, truly. Yeah. Like, or really experienced yourself in a new way by going on a trip, you know? Yeah. I mean, sometimes I tell my patients that are doing everything right. They got their macros dialed in and their micronutrients, and they have their hormone panel and everything's dialed in, but they're like, I'm still 70, 80% there. I always tell them, well, when's the last time that you went on vacation? Yeah. And there's a lot of silence after that question.
Crickets.
Right.
Oh, wow. Give me an example of what you tell someone. What is something quick you could do? You're going about your day. We all hit that, like you're stuck at a light, someone cut you off, your anxiety. Is there breathing you teach people that you can just do quick to regulate your nervous system?
Absolutely. So this is something that got a lot more popular with Andrew Huberman, but there's the double inhale. Have you heard him ever do that before? So it's essentially, you can be in a seat. You can, of course, be driving your car. There's the technique that I was describing to you is called reset breathwork. Don't recommend doing that while you're driving your car. Please never do that. Yeah. We always have disclaimers on our apps and whatnot.
I was breathing.
I was trying to relax before I hit the car in front of me. But yeah, so it's essentially a double inhale. So, and it's all in and out through the nose. So you inhale once, and most people actually don't fill all the air within their lungs. So you can inhale twice, and then a passive exhale out the nose.
Okay.
So it's
Let's
inhale.
do it.
Yeah. Inhale. Passive exhale. Inhale.
Through the mouth or the nose?
In through the nose, out through the nose.
Okay.
In, out. In, out. So it's just like that. It's just simple techniques like that. But it's also about knowing when to incorporate them throughout the day. Yeah.
Just that quick. Do you say, okay, do that 5 times, 10 times?
Well, what I usually recommend is people come into my practice and they'll do these long form journeys with me. And then based upon how I see them breathing, a lot of people really struggle with their belly breath. They just struggle contracting their diaphragm. And so I'll give them exercises just based upon activating their diaphragm, activating their belly breath, because most people are breathing up in their chest. And if you're breathing up in your chest using just your chest muscles, it's going to cause a lot of actual anxiety because you're not actually filling your entire lung field. So it really just depends on what I see.
I think that would stimulate your vagus nerve too. So that's going to get you from this fight and flight like mentality into your parasympathetic, which is your rest. So I think that deep breathing is important. I mean, I feel better just even a couple of breaths.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like I'm talking even a little slower.
Yeah. Well, and that's the big thing with breath work is the most important thing is breath awareness. So forget about the techniques, forget about what we just talked about. Just start becoming more aware of your breath. And when you do that, it's it's a medical term, but it's called interoception. It's your sixth or seventh sense. And so the more that you can actually become aware of your breathing, how it's impacting your emotions, studies show you'll actually have a much greater impact on your stress resilience, your ability to adapt to stress, and actually lower your inflammation. So just become aware of your breath, the quality, the depth of it, and it will naturally deepen. And then from there, you can use techniques that we talk about all the time.
Now, give me like 3 things that you struggle with that for inhibiting your breathing. What do you find? Like you're having a day and you're like, oh, wow, I'm not focused. I'm not feeling my body and I'm not breathing.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me, just being a healthcare provider is, today I'm going to get married in a week. I don't know when this episode comes out, so I'll probably be married by then.
That's so exciting.
But I'm cramming everything in this podcast. I think I have like 4 or 5 patients back to back, and then I got to teach a workshop after that. So it's like full day of activities. So I think the biggest thing that I really struggle with is like this underlying need or desire for wanting things to be just right for the patient or just perfect. And so I really struggle a lot with that. I find for me, how I try to incorporate breathwork techniques to help around that is I love doing the double inhale with the exhale. I also really love, which I don't think I have time for right now, but I love doing breathwork exercises with movements. So there's a technique called Bostrika. It's called bellows breath. It's think of like a bellow around a fire, like, so you have the stick, the poker, you got the shovel, and then you got that accordion looking thing. It's called the bellow, right? Okay. And the bellow's job is to increase the fire by adding air. Yeah, stoking the fire. And so sometimes I notice with that apprehension I have or perfection, it's actually just a lot of excess nervous energy. So before, and I'll probably do it today, I'll do a little Bostrika to like get that extra like anxiousness out of me so that I feel a lot more centered and calm, rather than me coming from this place of like wanting, needing, desiring to like help that person and like overextend myself. I'm going to come from a much more centered place.
Amazing. And I think a lot of us can relate in a world where there's always something going on.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, we want to help others. And we have this huge pressure to be everything to everyone, especially because everyone's watching on social media.
Right.
So how centering and healing to be able to take even a few seconds to yourself and realize this isn't selfish, this is healing, and I can help others better when I'm more centered and calm.
Right. And the biggest thing I've dealt with, and it's family-wide for me, is depression, like clinical depression. Have family with bipolar, borderline personality disorder. And so for me too, like just thinking about the whole umbrella of emotions, you have like anxiety on one end, which is like apprehension about the future, like forward thinking. And then depression is like usually towards the past. And so for me, it was like a lot of depression that would come up. I had a lot of dopamine issues because of my autoimmunity, but these long form breathwork journeys, reset breathwork is what we do. It really helped me rebalance my neurotransmitters, because when you take somebody through a hard breathwork session, stretch their nervous system, you're going to have a lot of endorphins dump, a lot of neurotransmitters, and it does really help reset the neurochemistry within the brain, and was so helpful for my really chronic underlying depression.
I think we all need to hear that a lot.
Yeah.
What is the number one piece of advice you give to someone who's just getting into breathwork and needs this? We all need it, but what would you tell a brand new patient?
A brand new patient? Well, I would tell them, hey, your breath is literally a mirror for your life. How you breathe is how you live. And what the science really shows is literally there's breathwork techniques that you can do, like we just did. And there's studies that show there's direct relations to those emotions, but how most people are living, they're living based upon their emotions impacting their breath pattern.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're a doctor. You walk around a mall and you're like, that person has metabolic dysfunction. That looks like they have some, congestive heart failure here. I do the same thing with the breath in noticing how people breathe, because that will impact their emotions and vice versa.
They're not breathing. She needs some deep breaths.
Yeah. So what I tell people is no matter how you feel, there's a breathwork technique that can change the state in which you feel, and you'll gain if you can gain mastery and control over that, you'll gain back your life.
Amazing. So how does someone find you?
Yeah. So I'm actually one half of what's called the Healing Couple.
Okay.
Me and my partner, Jessica, have a breathwork business. We've been full-time for 7 years, teaching meditation, mindfulness, and breathwork techniques. We're known as the Healing Couple. And so anything The Healing Couple, thehealingcouple.com, the Healing Couple _ on Instagram. And we also have a community called the Reset Collective, which has a bunch of pre-recorded trainings as well as monthly online live trainings that me and Jessica do, where we do these long-form journeys. So if you're open to it, we'd love to offer your community the first month free. They just have to use a code BREATHE100 at checkout.
Breathe 100.
Breathe 100.
And I think we should have you over at our retreat.
That would be awesome.
And do something together.
Absolutely.
This is amazing and really, really needed.
Yeah.
So thank you for talking to us. Thank you for sharing with me. And just remember to breathe. I mean, let's start with 2 breaths in and breathe it out. Like, yeah, don't forget to breathe. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.